All right, g'day everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. My name's Jess Rogers and I'm the Assistant Secretary and the Industrial Officer here at the CEPU. Now, no one's more disappointed than us about having to postpone the rally today, but we had a responsibility to the community. The workers attending the rally are essential, and the risk of having even one positive case with the current COVID situation emerging in South Australia could potentially have resulted in more than 50% of essential workers who keep our power on having to go into isolation. So we've determined that the public risk was too great and we've postponed the event. Our first speaker is Caroline Tyndale, who's an ASU rep and an SA Power Networks electrical designer. And I'm going to hand over to Caroline to do a acknowledgement to country.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, the microphone's tall. I would like
Bring it down a bit.
Okay, so that better? Oops, it's going to fall. Never mind.
Bring the whole thing down. There you go. Good work.
Okay, so I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emergent. I also extend that respect to First Nation people who are listening in today. Thank you. Who's next? So thanks everybody. Help us. Bye.
Thank you very much, Caroline. We may not be able to gather and rally together today outside of Keswick, but that doesn't stop us rallying together. We've got an online campaign happening right now and we're asking all of you to be a part of it. Campaign involves two actions. The first one is posting a photo of yourself and if you're an SA Power Networks worker, why you're taking industrial action today. And if you're not a worker of SA Power Networks, why you're supporting the workers who are taking the strike action today. The second action is to get onto SA Power Networks' Facebook page and to leave comments of support for their workers in getting a fair deal. I want to congratulate every single SA Power Networks worker who's taken industrial action and who's currently taking action right now. SA Power Networks haven't made this easy for you or for us, but the solidarity and the courage that I've seen from everyone in this time has been really inspiring. You're not only saving your wages and the conditions and the job security that you currently have, but your industry and for the future generations of workers. It's important that we recognise in the union movement that we stand on the shoulders of the giants of those who have come before us. And today you are those giants. I'd like to now introduce our next speaker, Dale Beasley from SA Unions, who is the secretary there.
Thanks, Jess, and thanks to Caroline for that acknowledgement. I also want to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you today from Kaurna country and pay my respects to elders past and present. Well done to everyone who's taking strike action today. I'm here with a pretty simple message for all of you, and that message is that the South Australian Union movement is right there behind you as all of you are taking this action today. You stand on the shoulders of giants, as Jess has said, and the stand that you are taking today is a model for how all South Australian unionists must unite against the powers of corporate greed. It's only our union movement that can be any effective counter to those powers. And that's why we're all standing with you. A little while ago, a good comrade of mine, Matt Murphy, stood in front of another rally of SAPM workers and described the greed being shown by the employer as being so bad they're seeking to take wages from people who don't even work there yet. And I thought that was perfect. He wasn't wrong. Very soon, you're all going to have the opportunity to put this disrespectful proposal in the bin where it belongs, to vote no again. And you all must. We must all be unrelenting in our stand against the sort of crap we're seeing from Sapin and so many other employers at the moment, because the forces of greed are unrelenting in their fight to take away the things that we as workers and unionists hold dear and have fought for so long. Importantly, the corporate class aren't just able to do this, they are enabled to do this. The people asking you to accept cuts to conditions, to throw your future colleagues under the bus, are supported actively and enabled by politicians on North Terrace and up on Capitol Hill. Their friends in the Liberal Party pass laws that make it easier for employers like Sapin to strip away conditions that we all care about. The decent jobs that South Australians deserve, that we've fought for, and that our children are going to need in the future are what's at stake. And I don't know about you, but I've bloody well had enough of the unrelenting attacks that we've been seeing on the increase as well. Now, sure, the greedy have the deck stacked in their favour, we know that, together with their Liberal friends, but the thing I hope everyone watching today will take away is that you've got friends too. You're not alone in this fight. Look around at the speakers who are speaking to you today. Look around at the friends and comrades who are supporting you online, and know that we've got your back and that we stand with you, and we'll be there until we see the end of this disrespectful proposal. I think the most important thing to remember, though, everyone, is that you need to remember who isn't here today. You look around at the people who are here supporting you, you remember the people who aren't. Remember the ones who aren't by your side, who haven't got your back. And when we go to an election, federally or at the state level in the next 6 months, remember that. And when it comes time to cast your vote, you pay those people back. All strength to your arm, comrades. Well done.
Thank you very much. I'd like to now introduce Chaz Thomas, who is the UFU United Firefighters Union President and firefighter.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, everyone. Of course, I too would like to just acknowledge Caroline and thank you for that acknowledgement of country, and to, on behalf of my members, acknowledge that we gather today on the traditional lands of the Kaurna people. And I would encourage everyone out there in cyberspace to know exactly wherever you are, to pay your respects and know what land you are gathering on. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for this opportunity to stand here on behalf of my members. Max Adlam, Secretary, is here as well. We represent firefighters around the state that are facing the same kind of battles that you are. However, I stand here today and say thank you for your solidarity for our plight. I know that the CPU have been showed incredible solidarity to our struggles that continue on a daily basis at the moment. And we are here to stand with you today and congratulate you on making a stand. And we stand with solidarity and say, be strong out there. So there are many speakers that are going to cover off on many different topics. And thank you to Dale for your words. They were great. And I'm not going to try and steal the thunder of some people to come before. The message is pretty loud and clear. It's stay strong, stay together. A little bit about our message out there. There are no, we stand with AMBOs as well. And it's the climate that we see on a state level, but we see it on a national level, we see it on an international level. Disrespect for people standing up for their conditions at work. For emergency services workers, it's quite a little bit different. We've stood up and said what we need to be able to help you. And that's what make our members tick, which is to be able to help you on a daily basis. We've stood up in our EB and asked for those tools of the trade to do what we need to do to help you. And this government in our EBs have just said, not interested. We don't believe that's right, and that's why we're telling the South Australian public exactly what's going on, the disrespect that's shown just because we're union members standing up and asking for what we need. So quite often it's said you need quite a bit of courage to be a firefighter. Well, you need a lot of courage to stand up for what you believe in. And, you know, we've copped it. We've copped a dirty campaign from various different media outlets, from direct corners of the government, and unfortunately even from our own managers that have tried to dirty up this campaign, dirty up our unions, and made our members feel ashamed to do what we're doing. Well, we say no. And the message is loud and clear to you guys as well. Stand up, be strong, because this is a strict campaign. People want to hide behind things like COVID to change the rules and things like that. It's just the boss's prerogative, okay? So we need people to stand up. Was really said before, the solidarity that's been shown by your union to rock up to our rally, and that was just so heartening when our members came in the streets, stood side by AMBOs, and were surrounded by the rest of the SA unions to stand up there. And I got the opportunity to stand things like, what do you do when you're under attack? Well, we all know what you need to do is that stand up and fight back. And that's what you're doing today, comrades. So continue to do that. Look, out in the field and in extreme weather events, firefighters do the job daily, just as you guys have had to do. COVID comes along, extreme weather comes along. We have to continue to do our job, and we interact with you guys out in the field all the time. So, you know, we're going to continue. You'll see our people out there with union T-shirts at the moment, or union hoodies. That's because they prefer to wear the union badge as opposed to the fire brigade badge. And that takes a lot for a firefighter. It takes a lot, as I said, to stand up and be proud of what you want to do and make a stand. But it takes a lot to wear the union badge instead of the fire brigade badge. So when you see our members out in the field, comrades, make sure you interact and talk about your struggles. And because it's the solidarity to get us through. I'm pretty chuffed to get one of these today, and I'll be wearing that as well. So, yeah, look, the message is very loud and clear. We're with you. We stand together. Keep up the good work, comrades. Hang in there. And thanks for your support once again.
And we thank you so much for your solidarity, comrades. Now, I said earlier that we're unable to all rally together at Keswick, but it doesn't mean that we aren't able to go to Keswick. So we're going to cross now to some live action there.
Yeah, g'day, Scudsy here from the CPU, just hanging out here down in front of the Sappin building with old mate Robbie the Scab Rat. All right, we're all down. It's a bit of a shame we couldn't have everybody down here today, but because of COVID, we've done the live feed. Myself and Alex Capper come and set Robbie up this morning, got a few placards up, and had a bit of engagement with people walking in. Pretty much, it's everybody knows it's a pretty shit deal that Sappin are putting out. Okay, we're encouraging everybody to vote no. I organised in the construction sector. Unfortunately, in 2016, they brought in the building code and got rid of all of our contractor parity clauses through our agreements. What that's done to the construction sector is just given us it's just turned labour hire into a cancer that has wrecked the industry. It's driven down rates, it's made job insecurity, and it's just been a cancer in our industry. Sappin workers fought long and hard 4 years ago to keep in the One Sappin campaign, to keep the contractor parity clauses and the building code out of their industry. Sappin have just gone and all they're trying to do this time, Rob Stobie and his mates are trying to just bring in the building code just straight up with this agreement. All right, we know what will happen. We've seen it happen before. You get a contractor parity, you get rid of your contractor parity clauses. They'll bring in labour hire. They'll bring them in at market rates, which is the award. So that's pretty low. That's a long way below what you've got now. So best thing you can do, vote no. Vote no, and encourage everybody you work with to vote no. Keep watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the live feed, and keep punching on. Thank you.
All right, it's now my pleasure to introduce to you the CEPU President and SA Power Networks worker, Jason Harrison, also more commonly known as the Hulk.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. I've got my Maria phone. Thanks, Maria. For those that know, they know. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is bigger than I ever thought it would be. I'm looking out. I'm looking at a sea of people. There's 700 or 800 people of you. You're out there. We're blocking Anzac Highway. This is awesome. There's only one row of traffic into the city. Keep this up. We're going to get these bastards. Now, just a bit of housekeeping. My good friend Corey over there on my right, if I start going off script, he's going to keep me in line. He's going to yell out shame. That tells me, stop it, Jason. You're about to say something naughty. So thanks, Corey. You're a man. All right. Don't know where to start. In the words of ETU National Industry Organiser Matt Murphy, they are so greedy, they want to steal money from people they haven't even employed yet. Shame. Shame. Proud, proud, proud. I'm so proud of all of us. I'm just so proud. We've got workers from every work group here today with us. They've all said, yep, I'm fighting, I'm voting no. We've got the 3 unions fighting together. We've got non-unionists fighting with us, voting no, having conversations, talking about it. This is just magic. I don't even know where to begin. I'm so excited. The conversations we're all having with people voting no. This is terrible. It's just, I remember, and those that have been here for a long time would remember, working for a company that actually respected their workforce. They respected their workers as people that came here, did a good job and did a great thing. Not just the numbers and dollars that we are now. That is shameful. Shame. Shame. Thanks again for everyone that's done anything to help, anything at all, any conversation you've had. You're a member, you're not a member, you're a boss, you're a worker, whatever you are, if you've helped us, I thank you again and again. Now, just a bit of housekeeping. We've got to keep tidy. It's my new mantra. This isn't SAPN versus Anavan. This isn't salaried versus wages. This is us versus the man. We are UMPL employees. We are fighting the man up there. Shame. Shame. All right. We don't just fight for ourselves. We fight for the many. We fight for those that can't stand up for themselves, that don't have the strength to stand up and say no. We fight for them everywhere across the country. We give them strength in the hope that next time they can stand with us. There's lots of people here today, thank you for coming again, that have never ever protested before. They've never taken industrial action. They've never actually had the empowerment to say no to their boss. They are today. Thank you, and thank you for coming. It's quite simple. Vote no. We know it's a no vote. The company knows it's a no vote. People have been going to presentations from leaders pretty high up the food chain. The leaders aren't even selling this anymore. They're just going through the motions of speaking words. I don't know. They're on the video. They're telling us we need it, and they can't even sell it. I'm getting so many stories from so many people. We all know it's a no vote. We all know we're going to win. It carries on from now. I'm just so excited. I can't explain to you guys how excited I am looking at this sea of people and knowing that we are all in this together. There's so many of us, and I better stop because Jess will tell me off for taking too long. But thank you all again. Thank you for coming. I'm proud of us all.
I said to you all earlier that we in the union movement recognise that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and the Hulk is certainly one of those. It's my pleasure to now introduce you to our next speaker, Kaya Ma, who is the Shadow Minister for Industrial Relations.
Thank you, and it is a bit strange to be addressing a rally from a room in Port Adelaide, but thank you everyone for coming out today. I'm, as the introduction said, Kaya Ma. I'm a member of the Labor opposition in the South Australian Parliament and Shadow Minister for Industrial Relations. It's not up to me to make recommendations or suggestions about what you do. You have very good and very strong leadership from the CPU, the ASU and Professionals Australia. You have very good and very strong leadership. I'm going to get a little political, which you might expect being a politician, but it should never have come to this. We shouldn't be bargaining with a majority controlled and owned company from Hong Kong. The electricity assets had been for so long owned by the people of South Australia, and that's how it should have stayed and remained. We have seen this, this state Liberal government attacking workers and workers' rights, not just from when the current Industrial Relations Minister, Rob Lucas, sold off ETSA way back in the late 90s, but even in recent years. We have seen this state Liberal government try to repeal labour hire licensing laws that the former Labor government brought in. We didn't allow them to do it, but they watered it down. We have seen this current state Liberal government not pass legislation that we put up to give greater protection for workers during COVID. And most recently, we're seeing an attack on workers in South Australia with Rob Lucas, the person who sold ETSA, now making changes to the return to work scheme to make it much harder for injured workers to get properly compensated. And as a state Labor opposition, we're going to be putting in legislation to stop what Rob Lucas is trying to do. So as part of the broader Labor movement from the Labor Party, we want you to know, it's not up to us to make recommendations, but we stand with workers in South Australia.
Nicely said.
Absolutely. And we've certainly seen that shift with the organisation through privatisation. The way that it was sort of run initially after that happened to now is, a completely different story. So couldn't agree more. Thank you. Next, we have Scott Cowan from the ASU. He's the Assistant Secretary there. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Jess. My name's Scott Cowan. I'm the Assistant Secretary of the ASU. It's a great day today, seeing so many of you out at Keswick, protesting what's really this horrible situation where essential workers are having to take protected industrial action to fight for basic rights that they've enjoyed over the last 10, 20, 30 years. It's a real show of what we're dealing with here, where essential workers are having to take protected industrial action to get a fair deal at work. What's happening at the moment with SA Power Networks is they're trying to use the fear of coronavirus, the fear of this pandemic, to bully workers. And I say bully because people are forced in to meetings with senior management, most of whom they would have never seen before, and told why they should vote yes to this dodgy deal. It is bullying, and I'm calling it out for it. People are being bullied into voting yes to a two-tier workforce and a 20% pay cut to all new workers. If this gets up, there will be no way to get it back. This is very important, and I can't stress it enough to everybody here today. We need to vote no to this dodgy deal. And let's remember what we're dealing with here. I said this is essential workers. We're dealing with an employer that's not an airline. It's not a cafe. It's not an industry that's been impacted by COVID. Everyone's still using their electricity. Profits are going up. And yet we are being offered the lowest pay rise since Rob Lucas privatised ETSA, the lowest pay rise ever by this foreign multinational. It's unfair, and we're voting no, and we're taking protected industrial action because it is so important. And so I can't acknowledge enough the personal sacrifices that our members are taking today. The Australian Services Union, the CEPU and Professionals Australia are taking this action to support good jobs for South Australians. A big multinational profitable company has a moral obligation to be doing the right thing by this state and to be a model employer, not to be bullying its workers the way it's doing now with this dodgy deal. And what I'd say is we are essential workers. We acknowledge today the Fireys Union, and we know we've got in solidarity support the AMBOs as well. The ASU, the CEPU and Professionals Australia have been out at your rallies. We thank you for repaying your support today. We're showing the state what essential workers can do, and we're asking SA Power Networks to do the right thing and give us a fair deal. Thank you, everyone.
All right, next we're going to cross to AJ Pradhan, who is an engineer at SA Power Networks and a member of Professionals Australia.
Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to say something. Hope you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. Well, on behalf of Professional Australia, on behalf of all our unions and for us, our engineers, I have raised the question when our leaders, managers were doing the road shows about telling us about the rosy picture and how fantastic this deal is and how great this employer is. And I have raised few questions. Very first question I was said in regards to Fair Work Act 2009, I was saying the sub clauses 3022, it says equal remuneration for work of equal or comparable value. And 303 was talking about you can increase the wage structure, but you can't drop it. Anyway, it was about the interpretation for their side and interpretation of our side, and I was being told it's not applicable and wish it was applicable. Oh, we talk about 2021 proposal, and what is it? What is it that really going to impact? I asked the question, it's about 30% of the labor cost they want to control. I raised the question. I say, what about 70% of the other financial impact on the business? Why aren't you looking at the wage structure from level 4 managers up to chairman? Well, in 2020, we all know very well, chairman has taken 1.2 million package in 2020 COVID scenario, and he has taken 700,000 as a bonus. Why aren't they contributing anything to the business to save 30% of the labor cost? 30% of the labor cost is us. And now we have been split into not 1, 2, I would say in 3 parts. We not getting now any bonuses we are not getting. Now, as an engineer's point of view, all I was relying was on this classification review clause, number 442. If you look in the clause and read and compare what they have done for the engineers like me, who are on the top of the grade and stuck there for last 7 years, doing everything right, participating PPR, contributing to the business. And what am I getting? I'm getting nothing out of it. So only right I got as an engineer is to fight with this clause, which is in our enterprise agreement, which is called Classification Review Committee. It was in our clause in 2018 enterprise agreement that we have a right to nominate independent chair. We will nominate independent chair. Clause 4421C. It says management and union will nominate and appoint independent chair for 2 years. If you look into 2018 clarity, this is nothing to do with money. I have asked this question to management. What is your intention behind this by removing the clause? Dot number 4422G will allow an employee to present their case personally or an advocate to present a case on behalf of employee. This is removed. In determination, We are being told CRC is written in 2018 clause. We will have one vote. That's removed. Determination will be taken by CRC committee where 2 votes from union will be counted. That's been removed. Now complete decision and outrage decision will be made by only management. If the management today is saying they are the good employer, then explain me this. By voting blindly yes to this 2021 agreement, I'm putting my own neckline. All the employees who are in the 30% of their cost, they're putting their neck on the line. They are cutting their throats. What is the financial impact behind this? And why are they doing this? What is the intention? What are you going to get? It's very clear. You're not a good employer. You're not. You're not. I'm telling you very clear. If I am really so emotional and go with the rosy picture with what our management is saying, I would say, oh, thank you. I love you guys. You are doing fantastic work. You are chucking big chunks from level 4 and above. And only neck you can see is to quiz the real people who are doing the job and raising this money. What do you mean by 132 million profit before tax? Explain me this. And now you are only focusing on 30% labor. What are you doing? You are a good employer. If I vote yes, this classification review is going to kill me. I have nothing. I have no representation from the union. I cannot go to the classification review and say, hang on, I got this great conditions. I'm suffering, and many of the engineers are suffering. And now the engineers who are not even joined. My son is a structural engineer. If he joins this employment, then what's going to happen? He's going to say, Dad, it's shame. It's shame on you. You did not explain me properly. Thank you.
I couldn't agree with you more. Thanks so much for that, AJ. All right, so we're going to cut back now to Keswick and have a look at what's going on. We'll be joined by Alex Kappa, who is an organiser with the CEPU.
G'day, it's Alex Kappa here from the CEPUSA. I'm out here with Robbie the Robber Rat at 1 Anzac Highway. Robbie's favourite place to hang out and dream up ways to steal wages and conditions from workers here at SA Power Networks. We know that right now the focus from Robbie the Rat is trying to take away job security from our members and the ASU and Professionals Australia's members. Take away their job security, take away their contractor protections, which will open the floodgates to labour hire coming in at any wages, any conditions that the job hire agency wishes to pay. The rate currently for a linesman under the award is $24 an hour, and if this contractor parity clause gets removed, which it is in the offer that they've put forward, if that gets removed, then it will open the floodgates for labour hire to come in, and if they can get a liney to come in for $24 an hour, they'll get a liney to come in for $24 an hour. You know, we're talking about the tiered rates. That's obviously going to cause some damage. No one should be paid less, but if this contractor protections gets removed, then it will open the floodgates. They tried it on, Robbie and his mates tried it on at the last EBA negotiations. They tried to get the ABCC in, and one of the most damaging parts from that legislation in the construction industry has been removing contractor parity. They tried it to bring in the ABCC at the last EBA negotiations. The SAPN members all stood strong. They stood together. They defeated not just SA Power Networks, but they defeated the federal government by standing together and kicked the ABCC out of the power industry for every power industry worker in Australia. And we need to see those same workers again this year. This EBA negotiation doing the same thing, stand together, keep ensuring that you keep the contractor parity protections. The Workers United will never be defeated. As long as everyone stands together and votes this dodgy deal down, you can win and you can keep your job security. Is that it?
Thanks so much. And there's a clear vote no message there. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Jason Laley, who is a CPU state councillor and a liney at SA Power Networks. more commonly known as Splitty.
Well, this is unusual and different, but let's have a go. First of all, everybody, same job, less pay, no way. No way. I'd just like to say good morning, comrades. This is a bit weird doing this, but bear with me. How good is winning? How good does it feel to be winning this long, drawn-out campaign? 12 months, nearly to the day, we've been fighting against Sapin, and we've beaten them in everything. We've voted this down twice. We voted down convincingly twice. They said they'd cease negotiations. We took them to the tribunal. We got them back to the table. We've won at every single avenue we've gone down. So beautiful, wonderful people have spoken here before me today, and I thank all of you. And for the guys to speak after me, I thank you as well. I just want to say, I don't need to tell you how bad this is. I don't need to tell you anything else. I just want to tell you how proud I am of all of you for staying strong through this campaign and standing up against Sapin. I see guys out there, I know having no overtime, it hurts. We're all struggling, but we've got to look at each other as we always have and do it for each other. We'll get through this, and we are winning this. So just stay strong. The last couple of years have been terrible for not only South Australia, but for Australia in general. We all remember the Cuddy Creek, Kangaroo Island fires and the other fires around the country that have hurt and decimated not just our industry, but lots of other industries. And I believe, you know, as a union movement, staying together, we can rebuild those again. After, you know, one of the worst bushfires in memory, we had, guess what? Here's a pandemic, deal with that. So then we had a pandemic that's never been seen the likes of it for 100 years on the planet. We got through that. We stuck strong. Essential services workers stood up and went to work every day to keep our community safe. And what are we getting for it? We're getting ripped off. So it's time for you guys, and I know you've been doing it, it's time for you guys to stay strong. We're nearly there. We're winning at every turn. Don't give up belief. Make sure you understand that we will get this and we'll be successful. And I just want to say thank you very, very much for what you've done. And last but not least, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, you have the opportunity to send a message to Sapin to tell him what you think of this deal. And it's a vote no, and it's a vote no, and it's a vote no. Tell everybody it's just a vote no. It's as simple as that. Thank you all. I'm proud of you. Solidarity.
Shame. All right, next up we have Ben Jewell, the organiser for the power industry area, and welcome.
Morning, guys, and thank you for joining the live stream. I just want to say how unfair it is for SA Power Networks to actually put the workers in this situation. The workers of SA Power Networks have done everything they can to help the company over the last 5 years, and this is how they're getting repaid. Now, unfortunately, there's no easy way out of this situation. They're coming for your conditions. They're coming for the contractor parity clause again. And as everyone should know by now, the contractor parity clause is what protects us from cheap labour hire taking our jobs. The bottom line is you've got no choice in this situation except to fight. The easiest way for you guys to fight is to talk to the workers around you. I really need you to understand that the workers, talking to workers is the strongest message that can be sent. We can stand up here and say whatever we can say, and if people are listening, that's great. But you guys talking to your workmates is so much stronger. Our fight here now is to get this enterprise agreement knocked off. The vote starts tomorrow, all right? The vote starts tomorrow at 4 p.m. Between now and then, we need to talk to every worker. We need every worker to talk to every worker and explain to them what removal of the contractor parity clause will do and what installing a two-tier wage system in this industry will do. It is absolute destruction for the industry, and it'll never be the same if this stuff gets over the line. I need every one of you to talk to every person you know, everyone that you may have met, everyone that you may have talked to on the phone. All right, make them understand that voting yes is not an option. Voting yes cannot be an option at all if we want to maintain an industry where job security and good remuneration exists. It's up to the workers now. We'll be doing what we can, leafleting and talking to workers wherever we can, but you guys helping us out and you guys talking to other workers carries the strongest possible message. We need to stick together. Union members, non-union members, every single worker employed by utilities management gets a vote. We need every worker to vote no. This needs to be the strongest no that we've had through this whole campaign. And that will be absolutely embarrassing for SA Power Networks and their IR team that they've had 3 EAs voted down. In my view, the IR team needs to be sent to the Centrelink line for even trying this, all right? Because this here is an absolute disgrace. There is no way that any worker in this industry, and I'm talking across the whole industry, because if it gets in here, it will decimate the industry. There is no way that any worker in this industry should be put in the position that SA Power Networks and Enervin have put you in. The best way out is to vote no. Vote no, get this knocked off, and let's push forwards. So I want to thank everyone for participating in our industrial action. I know it's hurting, and I thank you for making all those sacrifices. But as Jason said, we need to stand together. We need to look at each other and understand that this is our industry. This industry does not belong to accountants. It does not belong to CEOs, all right? This is our lives and our industry, and it's going to provide for our families moving forwards. That's exactly what we need to protect. So talk to everyone you know and vote no. Solidarity, guys.
Now, you may have all noticed that there is one speaker missing, our Secretary, John Adley, and I wanted to put in an apology for him. He's off enjoying leave that was hard fought for by union members who came before us. We've heard today this is absolutely a critical time for these workers and also for the entire industry. And again, I just want to say how inspiring it is, the industrial action that you've taken, the way that you've come together and continue to come together to protect your industry and to create a future for the SA power industry. Now, we're going to wrap up, but that's not the end of it. I spoke earlier about the online actions, and we're going to ask you again to jump online and post a photo of yourself. And if you work for SA Power Networks, why you're taking industrial action today. And if you are a member of the public or a non-SA Power Networks worker, we're asking you to post a photo of yourself along with why you're supporting workers taking the action. And we're going to use the hashtag EmpoweringSA. It's the one that SA Power Networks use on all of their posts, and we want to take it over. So please, once this is finished, jump online, post your photo, use the hashtag, and then we're asking you to get on down to SA Power Networks Facebook page and to leave comments of support for the workers and negotiating a fair deal with them rather than trying to strip away their job security and their wages and conditions. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and we really appreciate the support. It was a bit of a nightmare trying to work out what we're going to do in having to postpone the rally today. So I want to thank everyone that was involved in making this happen, to our speakers for still coming along, getting down, and to all of our comrades who have been supporting us. Thank you all so much, and stay strong.